Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. I kind of jumbled up the order there, but oh well. Wherever you are in the world, apply the appropriate greeting. And welcome to another episode of Rising Lights. Today we're on episode 25. Firstly, I have Kitsune and Project 88 mile an hour joining me. If you want to say hello, guys.
Hello.
Obviously, Kit's always here, is the host, you know. Someone has to keep my rants in check.
You can't escape me.
He's got two people's rants tonight. It's probably to keep in check.
Oh, fun.
Hi. So, as per usual, the music we came into today was by Part of the Plan. You can see on screen right now if you are here live on Twitch or on YouTube. You can see the band. It's the group that we had. We had the lead singer Wraithbound or Cody on the podcast on episode 4. So I'll pop that command in there if you want to give a bit of support his way and the band's way on Twitter. And then also, as it states in that command, you can use !POTP, which I'll also put in there, which has a clip attached to it, which is a clip of Rafe basically saying his and the band's stance on people using their music, which, to summarize, basically is they love seeing what people come up with using their music, whether it's just, you know, background music for streams or, you know, using it in some sort of montage. They love seeing it. So Yokai says pretty good clip. I mean, it was literally just his you know, opinion on the DMCA thing and their uses of it. So as I said, we are live on Twitch, as we always are every Thursday, unless we have to change the day like we did last week. 10 p.m. UK, which is 5 p.m. Eastern in the US. If you want to come and check it out live, link will be in the description of the YouTube video. I'm sure Kit puts them in the Spotify platforms as well. Spotify,
where I can.
Podcast platforms, which are, and I've actually got the fucking list in front of me this week.
Go on.
Spotify, Google, Amazon, TuneIn, Stitcher, and Podbean. And then at some point we will be doing Apple, but one of us has got to get an Apple device before we can do that.
And that should be by the end of the year.
So there you go.
So yeah, that'll be interesting.
But yeah, as I said, we've got it on YouTube if you want to watch it over there. There's a highlight always up on my videos for...
Yes, thank you, Junes.
There's a highlight on my channel if you want to watch it on Twitch. Whatever reason you'd want to watch a video on Twitch, I don't know. But there you go, it's there. And then obviously like I said, export it to YouTube. Kit has been putting previous episodes on the platforms I mentioned, but
we have a bit of a backlog. Yeah,
we have a bit of a backlog, as you just said. Hey Scott.
Hey there. And by a bit of a backlog, too much of a backlog, if I'm honest.
Like, what, 5 episodes?
This weekend I'm going to try and get through as much of it as I can, get everything sanity checked, uploaded, make sure it's all visible for all the platforms, and then hopefully all things working properly by the coming Monday. All of the episodes will be on all of the platforms. You'll be available everywhere.
Okay.
Anywhere you go
is...
to consume our content, you'll be able to.
Yeah, so for anybody who is wondering, it's kind of like a two-pronged problem. There's been a slight technical thing, right? You said?
Yeah, a slight hiccup, which has had some issues with the visibility of the files. So I want to make sure that they're all right, sanity check to make sure they're all like the right size, the right volume and stuff.
And then obviously, as we covered in our updates episode, as we covered in our updates episode, which was episode 22. We're on 25. You can do the math. Kit recently started a new job. What was it you doing again? Like software development or something, right?
Software development, yeah.
Yeah. Because I had Sneak in my chat earlier today, and I was like, I'm pretty sure he's doing software development. And he was like, yeah, that's cool. So,
it is cool.
there you go. But yeah, so obviously that means that Kit doesn't have as much time as he did have. And you might be asking yourself, well, Trek, why don't you just do it? It's like, I have no idea of the knowledge of RSS feeds or whatever the bloody hell they're called.
It's actually fairly simple. I could probably write you something to be like, oh yeah, just put it in these boxes here. It'll ask you what to do, and then it'll just finish the rest of it for me. And I probably will this weekend, so I can just like speed up every one of them.
Yeah.
Just so like as soon as the audio is like, yep, that's fine, ship it. And just keep doing that.
Cool. Right, so we've done a little bit of an intro, done a little bit of a catch up. We've covered the fact that we are behind on that aspect, the audio only aspect of the podcast. Uploads. Now let's get into Project. I met you through Chaps. Like in Chaps' stream. Same with Scott, who's in chat. He's put his lick emote in chat.
Yeah.
So, do you want to just give us a quick introduction to you, who you like, what you do on Twitch, what made you start streaming, and you know, any games that you play, etc. Obviously, you play Destiny.
Yeah, so obviously you can see my name is Project88MPH. That name came from like an old music project I did. Like I used to be in bands quite a bit in my 20s.
Yeah.
And then it all kind of fell apart, and I was like, well, you know, I don't really know what to do with my creative side now. And for some reason, I don't know why, I just like found Twitch and, you know, did a stream just basically to have a look at the fact that you could record your gameplay. I just thought that was quite cool. And then it kind of progressed from there, where I thought, you know, you start getting these notifications from Twitch, don't you, that you start like hitting these milestones and then you can get to affiliate. And I was like, well, I mean, you know, I'm hitting some of these. Let's see what we can do. And I guess I do kind of like having an audience. I like trying to make people laugh. I'm usually the butt of the joke in my stream, but you know, that's kind of the way I like it. That's kind of what my content is really, is mostly people taking the mick out of me. But yeah, and then I kind of started getting a bit of an audience. And Scott, my good friend, we were part of a community from another streamer a while ago, and he kind of introduced me to Chaps. And yeah, from there I got a bit of advice from Chaps and a bit of advice from people in his community. And Scott very kindly built me a PC just before all this stuff hit. And so luckily I could get a very reasonably priced PC. Check out Ross I Build on Facebook. I Build PC if you want a reasonably built PC. And yeah, so from there I just started streaming, and I love Destiny. But the communities that I was part of was Destiny, and I stream a lot of Destiny. But I, like many others, have been playing this game for a long time, and after the season kind of winds down, I like to play other games. And you can see on my thing there, I like to play things like No Man's Sky, a few MMORPGs like DC Universe and The Old Republic. And yeah, and the odd single player game too. I like to do playthroughs and stuff. So yeah, that's generally my journey on Twitch. And yeah, that's kind of what I'm about.
I started like streaming straight from my Xbox, and basically the same as you.
That's
same sort of thing as you said. Like I got the notification saying I hitting these milestones.
It's just one of them things. It's like a video game, isn't it? You kind of go, oh, I kind of hit that milestone. I wonder if I can hit this one.
Let me carry on and see how far I can go.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, it just kind of went from there, man. And you know what? It's been a really fun ride, man. In the last year, especially when COVID hit, and you can't really see your friends or your family. Like Twitch has been an absolute lifesaver, man. Like being part of a good community like Chaps's and fostering your own community. Like I'll be honest, I didn't start streaming to build a community. I did it a bit self-indulgently because, you know, I like to entertain.
Yeah.
But now, like, I've learned the value of having a really good, like, having a lot of good people around you, especially with video games like Destiny. Like, it's really good to have a really nice community around you to do these activities and stuff with, and it just makes you love the game even more.
Yeah. See, so mine originally, I started like, what? All together, I actually started like 6 years ago, right? And
Wow.
it was basically, I didn't like take this actual streaming side of it properly serious until, like you said, last year when COVID and all that hit. But it was, for me, it was more kind of like what I do with these podcasts. So we obviously stream these podcasts and highlight them, and then I just export them because I've got my Twitch and my YouTube connected. Just export them straight to YouTube. Mine was basically the same thing as that. I wanted a way to be able to upload some good gameplay stuff that I'd done.
And you know what? Share
my
Factory on
YouTube,
PS4 was really good.
that.
Share Factory on PS4 was really good for editing videos and stuff. Like, it was actually not that bad. So yeah, I used to, don't ever go on my YouTube, but yeah, there's some some dodgy videos on there, but yeah, I did enjoy uploading a few.
Oh mate,
like,
I've literally got playlists that's called Stage 1 of my channel, Stage 2, Stage 3, and I think I'm on like Stage 4 now.
Yeah, I kind of abandoned YouTube, but yeah, it was fun. But again, it's just getting that creative side out. If you're a creative person, like making videos and stuff is also quite fun. But I would never claim that I was. I would never. So some of my music is on there from that project of Project 88 miles per hour as well, which isn't too bad. But yeah, it's your own stuff, so you cringe, don't you?
Yeah, for damn sure. I've got one where I like played around with Fruit Loops at one point on my.
Oh, nice.
I don't know whether it's
Can't
public.
be a bit of Fruit Loops.
I might have to look if it's public. But yeah, it was a mess, and like you said, it's your own thing. So you're like, oh fucking, that's horrible. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But as people always say, you are your own worst critic. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, that is definitely true.
That's why, like, if somebody comes into my chat and they don't know me, like I've never seen their name before, and they start like just cussing me out and calling me like shit, boring, whatever. I'm like, mate, whatever the fuck you're saying, times it by like 20, and I've probably thought it in my own head. So just get the fuck out. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, so that's what I was saying. Like, regards to when people turn around and say, "Oh, I want to start streaming," or "I want to start YouTube," it's like, but I ain't got the equipment. You can literally start anywhere.
Like, yeah, I mean, I kind of promised myself not to invest in anything until I hit affiliate. I hit affiliate just off my PS4, so I mean, I was quite proud of that, really.
See,
yeah.
I could kind of say the same, but I didn't actually hit affiliate until like September last year, and I bought my stream PC that I've got in June of last year, but it was a second-hand one I bought off my cousin because he just bought a Ryzen 5 3600X, I believe, with a 2060 Super in it. Like, he's able to stream when his internet holds up. He's able to stream off the one PC. It's that good stuff.
Yeah. And
this is just a crappy dual core fucking 710 graphics card that he bought to be able to play CS:GO. That was it. So it did the job, and then I obviously hit mine.
Yeah, I kind of did all that backwards. So I've been sort of on platform, we'll say, for a similar amount of time. Sort of streaming in bursts. So like, when I first started, I made my account and I'd stream like, I don't know, once every couple of months or whatever. You just whenever I felt like, you know what, I'll hit the button, and I'd get nothing out of it because I wasn't like properly trying or anything. But because I was playing the games and stuff, and I had a fairly okay. I had a decent enough machine, to run them and stuff. And then while I was in uni, as quite a lot of students do, I had student loans, student finance.
Yeah.
And I used that to buy a load of stuff that I didn't need to buy, like a camera and a stream deck and stuff. And I'll be honest, most of the time that I've used my stream deck, even now, after like setting it up properly, I was basically using it like a controller for games and stuff. Like I'd have shortcuts to keys on my keyboard that were like closer together, so I didn't have to like use both hands. I could just like have my mouse and then use my left hand.
So kind of like you
on
press the button
keypad.
on your Stream Deck and it says Control Alt Delete instead of you having to actually like stretch across your keyboard.
Yeah, like that, or to like open programs instead of like going through the start menu and everything. I just press it.
Yeah.
I know you want to open this with that file, or whatever. Not the way that you would typically use it now. Okay, go to this scene or show this, hide this, that sort of thing.
Which another thing, you don't even need a Stream Deck to do that.
You don't.
I have all my scenes and stuff hotkeyed.
Yeah,
on my numpad on my keyboard for my stream PC. So like right now, if I wanted to mute you guys, I'd just press 8. If I want to mute myself, I press 9. If I want to switch scenes, it's just like boom, 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 boom.
Yeah. But that's what I'm saying. You don't. Yeah.
As I just
example. As you just did. Yeah. But that's that. Yeah. You don't need all that stuff.
It's just a better quality of life for yourself. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, having the things in folders was nice. So it means that like I could have a folder for a certain game, or I could have a folder for a certain set of scenes. If I was streaming one sort of thing through OBS and I decided that I was going to use Streamlabs when I'm streaming like another format or whatever, then I could do that and have different buttons mapped to different stuff. And the screens are nice. The screens are nice on them.
Yeah, it's like I know Dune's got one. And he was like singing its praises, which they are really good pieces of kit. Don't get me wrong.
Oh yeah.
I'm not saying if you have the
but they're not. It's not
the
like
capital to invest in that. Don't get one because they are very good. I'm just saying it's not something you need. You know what I mean?
No.
People who are just starting out need to think about what they actually need, like a good, setup in the sense of a mic. Don't want to be really using a headset mic. Although, there are videos out there, like, my mic is a cheap-ass fucking mic, right? But I get people who will compliment me on my mic through my stream. And it's just like, well, all I did was watch a video and then use the video to set up, which was actually Alpha Gaming, or Harris Heller, about to become, Senpai Gaming or whatever it's, whenever he gets that all set changed over, and it was literally just a video from Ryan, who is part of that company that Paris Heller like runs with regards to uploading, streaming, etc.
Yeah.
And it was just a video that's like how to make any mic sound like a $2,000 studio mic. And it's like, you can do this, and then he was like, look, you can do this with a USB mic or an XLR mic. And then I'm like, well, I've got a USB mic, so let's go. And so I watched through the video, sorted out the settings to what I thought sounded good. Now, I'm not mic, I'm not qualified to know, oh, that mic's in perfect, range and all this, that, and the other, to all the technical sides of setting up a mic, right? But I did do music as a GCSE, so I have got an idea of some of the decibels, all that stuff. Most of it's gone in one ear and out the other over the course of the years. I've been left school like 12 years at this point, but it's some of the things you go through it and you're like, okay, right, yeah, that makes sense. And then you can get my mic was only like £35, and even then I waited for it. It was on sale when I bought it. It was like 15 quid, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it's
I think
one
that
of
was
the
on a
most
Prime day,
kind of
to be
important
honest.
things for your stream, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like how your mic sounds. And I mean, I did a music technology degree. That was my degree. So I mean, I should really
neat.
know what to do. But at the same time, things have changed quite a lot since 2001. So
Yeah.
not 2004 when I graduated. So but yeah, I feel quite at home when I like get a plugin that like
Do you want
looks
me to
like
make you feel
stuff
a
I used
little
to
old?
use.
I started secondary
Everyone always
school in
does.
2004.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, so I've probably forgotten more than I learned as well in that time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, all you really need to get your mic sounding good is a noise gate, because that'll stop any sort of
Yeah. Well,
outside
this is the thing.
interference.
They said
You need to learn how compressors work, and then you need to sort of just manage the actual tone of your voice, because if you like me, for example, I have a reasonably high nasally voice, and that's just how it is. So when I stream, like quite a lot of that tone is cut out. Quite a lot of that tone is cut out through an equalizer, so it doesn't sound quite as bad, if you know what I mean. To me, anyway.
Yeah.
So
well,
yeah.
For anybody who's wondering why me and Kit just laughed, Scott just put in chat, I had my 4th wedding anniversary in 2004. Shut up, you Whittaker snaps.
And with a typo.
Yeah,
he typoed it. He put
3004 in the
3004
future.
Yeah.
So he's laughing for calling us Whittaker snappers and because he typoed it.
We're here like filming or recording episode 25 of season 1. He's over there watching episode 25 of season fucking 1000. And yes, I am going to structure it like that. So every time we go into a new year, it will show up as a separate season in the podcast platforms.
It makes sense, to be honest.
I mean, I like your positivity that you're somehow going to discover how to live for another 1,000 years, but
I was literally about to say we've all just become simulacrums from the Apex and Titanfall universe.
Well, even if that doesn't happen, I'm sure we'll be able to find someone to pass the baton on to.
Yeah, the podcast really falls off after season 247.
Scott, fucking hilarious. But yeah, so like. Right. Let's get on to the actual.
Topic. I was going to say, shall we talk some topics? See what's been going on in the world.
As it is the last Thursday of the month, we do have a Twitch patch notes stream today. Well, it was earlier today.
Yeah.
Yeah. 12 PDT. So that's what. 8 our time, yeah. So 2 hours before the podcast went live.
Started 2 hours before the podcast, for an hour.
Yeah.
And they basically just sort of what they do every last Thursday of the month. They sort of recap like what they've announced over the month and what they're working on and stuff.
Yeah.
One of them that they mentioned was this first participation highlight. So if you're a stream, or even if you don't stream and you're a mod for someone. As you frequently say, Trep, what was it? Lurkers are the lifeblood of Twitch.
Yep.
And if after a while they decide to pop in and say hi, if you're in your creator dashboard or one of your mods is in mod view, there will be sort of like when someone subs or redeems something, there'll be a highlight on the message saying, hey, this person, it's the first time they've typed in your chat, welcome them in and stuff like that. Yeah. And it's supposed to be like a useful way to go, okay, you've got your regulars, you've got people who come by every now and then you've got people who are like, oh, hey, you're new. Let me tell you about myself, about my community, what we do here, and see if you fit in.
Speaking of which, we just got Flumpsaw, who's Project in my chat earlier. So I'm guessing he's come here because of you, Project. Just followed a minute ago and put me on 280. So thank you very much, Flump.
Oh, hey.
So yeah.
I like nice round numbers like that.
I like them too. But yeah, so obviously, like Kit said, on this stream, they basically just go through little things that they're announcing or they have announced what they're working on. So one of the things they announced today was this.
I should stress as well. This is currently under experimental status, so it's not on every channel. It's just some channels you'll notice this. So Trev, unfortunately, I don't think your channel is one of them.
I don't think so.
But
I have had the boost the stream thing when quite a few of our friends have been like, "Where's mine?"
But if you mod for someone or you notice this happening in your stream, that's what it is. That's why.
Yeah. So then another thing that they were talking about on here, Kit has sort of filled me in just before the podcast.
Yes.
Is the Network Enforcement Act.
Yes, or NetzDG.
For Germany.
I did ask how to pronounce that. The answer I got is just go with NetzDG. It'll be simpler. Yeah. So as it sort of mentions at the top. Yeah. So basically the reason this is linked is because it says in section 1, it applies to telemedia service providers and social networks like Twitch provides videos and stuff.
Yeah.
So basically, there's this piece of legislation in Germany, and Twitch is like going full in on complying with it in a couple of days. So what that means is if you've got a viewer in Germany, they're able to report a channel or a VOD or a clip, and if it's reviewed and found to be in violation of this, Twitch have two options. They either remove it entirely, or geofence it, block it so that, it can't be viewed in Germany. So if when you're looking at your stats and stuff, you suddenly see that certain VODs or certain clips or certain suddenly get them you've got some viewership in Germany, and then this particular video has literally nothing. That's what happened, and you probably get a notification. I don't know. I've not,
Yeah.
Well, knowing Twitch, probably not.
I mean, the only person I know who is part of my chat periodically that's from Germany is Hans.
Yeah.
I don't know anybody else. I know Kirby is Portugal. I think Sneak is.
And there's a guy called Dr. Cutie who's quite a big part of Chaps's and all of our community, so we all better start being real nice to him.
Yeah. It does look like the default stance that Twitch are going to take is just geofence it, block it. They're not going to start removing stuff en masse.
Yeah. Makes sense, to be honest.
Which is just good.
But then another thing they covered was the animated emote. Right.
Yes, so we'd mentioned these previously, and there's just sort of obviously this happened earlier in the month, and they're just covering what happened in the last month.
Yeah.
They're now available for, I think it's most partners.
I think I've seen them in
all
basically
partners.
Every partners.
Yeah, they're everywhere now. And if you haven't noticed them, have a look. Really. Maybe the people that you sub to just haven't got around to adding them or don't want to add them for whatever reason. But there are a couple of small updates to go with this. Just after the list of streamers that were like, hey, these people use them, they mentioned the library. That started rolling out. I quite like that because what it means is what you used to have to do is you would add an emote straight into an emote slot, right? And you'd have to wait for it to be approved and all that.
Is this the possibility for seasonal ones that you were talking about?
Yes, so that's where I'm going, is what this library does is it lets you add an emote and wait for it to be approved and everything before putting it into a slot. So what you could do is have a load of emotes sort of on the side, and you could have, if you wanted to, sort of a seasonal theme.
Yeah, you could rotate them in and out.
Yeah, and you could rotate them in and out. So when it gets into winter, you could have one that's if you've got someone peering over a wall, for example, for lurking, you could have a bit of snow on the wall, or you could put I don't know, leaves and stuff on the floor, depending on, if you wanted to.
Makes sense.
And you will be able to just keep those on the side and then rotate them in and out, when the time comes.
Yeah, that sounds like a pretty good feature, man. I would probably make use of that and rotate because I've got slightly too many emotes for how many slots I've got, so I could like rotate them in and out like month to month or every other month or something. That'd be quite cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The other thing as well is that there are extra slots for the animated emotes. They don't take up slots already.
Oh
They're like
my
a separate
God,
section.
for that.
Alright, okay.
So what you could do, as kind of a workaround, is you could have, if you make an animated emote that has like 1 frame,
Yeah.
there's 5 extra slots for your emotes. They don't have to actually move. They just have to be in like the animated emote format. You know, just be a GIF file, drag it in. You could just have a single frame, and then there you go. You got 5 extra slots. If you have all 5 of the available, you know, it sounds like they'll have sort of fewer depending on where you are. Like you might have like 2 or 3 animated emote slots if you're down to like affiliate and done some of the stuff.
Yeah, I mean, is the word of when? Oh, it says there, doesn't it?
So it says there by the end of
2021.
2021. Yeah.
Yeah. Got time
And
to make a plan.
I know Jojo McGiggity, if that's how you say her name, on Twitter, has recently started using After Effects, and actually released the other day. Literally, she put out a tweet saying, "Oh, let's see how this goes," and it's her opening up After Effects, right? And then a couple hours later, it was, did some practice on doing animated emotes. Here's some for, and then whoever it was, and the person literally commented back, "How the fuck can you say this is practice? These are amazing." Which just goes to show some people are just naturally fucking talented at shit, you know what I mean? But yeah, and then you've got follower emotes in beta.
Yep. Speaking of which, actually, they had during. There was supposed to be like sort of a hidden Easter egg sort of thing, but it was quite proudly announced when I opened up. It's like you get a little notification above your chat box, like, "Hey, something's happening." It was basically, "Hey, you know, there's these follower emotes that Twitch now have for their channel. Go and use them."
Cool.
So even before they got into like, because they start the stream and they've got like a countdown before like the actual talking and stuff. Like the chat was just full of the Twitch Dino emote. Which is, you know, the TwitchCon dinosaur badge that they've got.
Yeah.
It's the dinosaur
I
off
follow
that.
Twitch, so I'll have that as well. Okay.
Yeah, but it's only because it's a follower emote. It's you
Yeah,
only use it
usable.
in that channel.
Yeah.
In that chat rather.
I mean, I like this because like you said, I think when we discussed it before, you can use it for like sort of in jokes. Do you know what I mean? Like inside joke.
Yeah.
So if there's a joke, for instance, that Scott and Project, for instance, have got with Chaps and all of Chaps' chat, you know, Chaps can get an emote made, put it in the follower emotes, and people can just use it in his chat. Like, and it's
I'm sure we can think of
it's
something.
a whole
Oh yeah.
sort of thing. Do you know what I mean?
It is pretty much the ideal place to put an emote for something like that because it probably wouldn't make sense other places unless you were like, you know, with the same people from your community, like in another community, and you just sort of, you know,
like if Chaps's community was in Scott's or Project.
Yeah. Then obviously, you know, they know the in joke, they could use it, but you know, there might be some people who will go, "Oh, okay, well, what's that?" I mean, that is then a way to sort of explain it and go, "Oh yeah, it's from this channel over here. You should probably go check them out, and there's a shout out opportunity or whatever." But you know,
I'm just scrolling through this article. Like, I'm liking how this library thing looks as well. Like,
yeah, it is good. And I used it, so I have I added I had like a folder with some images in for emotes and things, and I had ones that I think I put them in. What's the third-party tool called?
Better TTV.
Better TTV, that's the one. I put them in Better TTV, and I hadn't put them on Twitch because I just didn't have the slots. And then I went and like I put them in the library and everything, and then noticed that I could use them, but other people can't because the slots that I had available for them are like 10k bits or whatever. That's like no one's gonna give me that. Let's be honest. I don't stream enough for anyone to even consider giving me that.
It's like Dunes has got the clan emblem that's in the top
Yeah.
corner of my stream if you come and watch my stream normally. I don't think it's on the podcast.
It isn't.
Yeah, I didn't think I'd put it on the podcast one. He's got that as a bit emote, and I've been like
Nice.
slowly just making my way there. I want to use that. I mean, I could just make it one of mine, you know, but but yeah. Getting on to a block.
Yeah. I mean, I should really have moved this to before, to talk about just after we talked about like the potential of blocking particular channels and stuff. Oh well.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, there's an ISP level block coming in from O2. Let's go. Hey, nice one, Junes. Sorry for the interruption there, but
Yeah,
Junes
nice.
managed to go over the PS5, which is kind of hard at the moment. So Slovakia, O2 in Slovakia have blocked the entirety of Twitch, actually, from there this morning. There's probably an update at some point to say like, okay, they've restricted it to just this channel, but at the moment, it's just there was someone streaming poker, and it didn't fly with the Slovakian legislation for promoting gambling and stuff or whatever. Like the way he'd done it, didn't fit. So they was there a report or something? So they wanted to ban or block his channel, but the way they implemented that, they've ended up blocking the entirety of Twitch on that ISP. So I don't know if they're going to like adjust it so that they can just block a specific page, or whether they'll leave it as is and everyone else will do the same. Because there was a court order to get it blocked, which is why the ISP has done it at their level rather than just going, hey, Twitch, can you just geofence this for us?
I mean, it's probably easier for Twitch to geofence it, right?
Yeah. Because the thing with this is that like, even if you say that like, oh, well, if people try and use a VPN or a proxy service to get around it, and then like, okay, as far as Twitch is concerned, they're in a different country. The proxy service is fair enough, but if you use a VPN or whatever, your ISP is not going to know where you're going.
It seems like a little bit over the top, really, doesn't it? I mean, I guess that's just the way the cookie crumbles.
Yeah, which is why I think it's sort of like a technical limitation or an oversight. It's like they've tried to just block that one page, but because of the system they're using, is that like they've put this in like the entire URL to his stream or to this particular VOD or whatever, and the system's just looked and gone, that's the domain, block that. And
I just don't get why they wouldn't just reach out to Twitch and say, "Oh, can you block?"
Yeah. Might have done and they haven't done it, or the regulatory bodies have just gone, okay, yeah, this needs to go. Get straight in touch with the ISPs. Who knows what's happened, but this is the result.
I think as well, this is partly due to like companies being more international now, you know, YouTube, and gaming companies in general, but and then each country having different like copyright laws, or you know, different gambling laws, etc., etc. Like there'll be some countries where you might get banned, you know, for showing that you smoke on stream, but other countries, they're completely fine with it. Do you know what I mean? Like, yeah, Twitch themselves don't like you drinking on stream as long as you're not promoting, you know, drinking. But
yeah, you know, like it'd be one thing to like have a drink like on your desk or whatever and just like take a sip every now and then, compared to going, oh yeah, you know, this is what I'm drinking, you should totally all go and buy a can of this right now and drink, you know, all that shit.
Yeah.
You know.
But hey, it's the world we're living in. Unfortunately, it's what 10. Well, we saw in the last section. You know, Twitch is only 10 years old. YouTube is probably what 10, 12 years, 12, 15, 20 years old maybe.
Yeah,
at a push.
something relatively small like that. I say relatively small, you know, it's about my
They're
lifetime,
not.
but
What
still
I'm saying is,
small in the grand scheme of.
we're still
Yeah.
learning how these platforms can be, you know, properly policed, etc.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
And it's better that we get it done now and well implemented than some particular country like decide to go, okay, this time we're cracking the whip. You know,
yeah.
you're not, you know, like something like this that's happened probably accidentally would be like the desired outcome for somewhere, you know.
Well, here's the thing as well. The idea, the thing you said about that German thing that Twitch is now ready to comply with. You said something about it being from 2017. We're in 2021, so they're already behind on some sort of legislations like that anyway.
Yeah. Like, and they will have been doing things like on an individual case by case basis, but like they've set up infrastructure to deal with that more easily now, so that they can just like make it easier to issue a report, make it easier to deal with reports when they come in, you know, quicker to block content in certain places. It's a stepping stone to all that.
I'm gonna give a little bit of a thank you to you, Kit. You basically just gave me a bit of a segue into the first Destiny topic. So you're basically saying that they're now able to take feedback on individual cases better than what they used to be able to, right?
Yeah.
And with that being said, we're gonna go into a tweet that was put out late last week. No, earlier this week, right?
Yeah, a couple of days ago.
Tuesday.
Yep.
Basically, Cosmo was looking for feedback on Guardian games, what people liked, what people didn't like, and you know, just generally try and improve the experience for the players going forward. Like, because obviously it's not long finished. What, about a month or two ago? So they've got like basically the entire year to try and like revamp it and make it, because you know it's gonna come back next year. It was back for like the fourth year.
Is
I
it the
think
second
it was.
or third? Is that the fourth year, Guardian? It can't be.
No, third.
Third.
Yeah, third year.
Yeah.
But my point being is, it's been every year so far. So next year it's pretty much guaranteed to come back. So they're probably looking for this feedback because they want to change it. They want to make it more interactive. They want to, you know, make it so that more people enjoy it.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of potential there, though. That's probably why. But
yeah,
people can moan and groan every year, like after when this comes out.
Yeah, people always go basically what Amaze put in his comment, which is something other than bounties. People always say after Guardian games, "Oh, it was bounty farming simulator." Every year,
yeah.
And then
I mean, a lot of the seasonal events are like that, though, aren't they?
And then they come into the next year, and it's like, oh, maybe it'll be different this year, and then it's exactly the same. And people just go, right, it is no point in doing this.
Now they're spooky bounties.
Yeah.
That's basically like the changes they can do. But I don't know. I mean, I replied to that tweet, and I just think, like, the things that I liked about it is the fact that it feels competitive. It's cool because everyone has that sort of jesting argument of what's master race. You know, I main warlocks. I'm always like warlock master race. You know, whatever.
Warlocks.
So it's warlocks. But yeah. So I enjoy that aspect of it. But my problem with it being so focused on the core activities is that, I mean, it might not be the same now because we're only doing 10 power levels per season. But at the time, it was like I spent the first 2 weeks going hard at these core activities to level up so I could do whatever pinnacle activity was coming out. And then at the end of the season, you're asking me to do it again for something that doesn't really feel worth it other than bragging rights. And, you know, like, a strike playlist is a good start, but I just don't understand. Like, this is Bungie. They made Halo. Like, they understand how to make 3v3v3 PvP modes and stuff like that. Like, why? Like, my idea for it would be, right, I don't know if you'd like this or not, but remember Rift? Yeah. I would like there to be a rift where there's a ball in the center, 3 teams with 3 different points on the map, and the idea is you've got to get that ball to your bit and score a point with 3 teams going after it. And I think that would be immense for Guardian games, and it's actually a bit more
I
like
have
a game.
one issue with that. It's
Go on.
it's a good idea, and they could make it work. But they would need to rework some of the maps because at the moment they are very, very focused on like you've got a point on that end, a point on that end. There's your teams.
Yeah.
So trying to get like 3 sort of base locations, sort of like where you have where you've got to get the thing back to, or where your spawn points and stuff are.
And God
is
forbid
gonna be
they
a bit
make a new
awkward on some of
map.
them.
So I mean, they can't have that as an option.
They could just do that, yeah. Just make a new suite of maps for it.
Yeah. You mean like the PvP community has been waiting? What is it now? Like 600
Since
days for a
Forsaken.
new map. Right. Never mind one that's exclusive to this game mode that Project's suggesting. They've been waiting for one. Period.
I mean, actually, the uproar if I got my wish and there was a new map involved with that.
And
like,
they didn't bother with new maps for other modes. You're just like, did you look at it and go, right? Did now just like trim it a bit and give us it as a normal PvP map? For the love of God, please.
Exactly. I mean, SRL as well, another resource not used that would be fun for Guardian games.
And I think we've said this like pretty much every Guardian games we've had in D2.
Yeah.
It was like, why don't they just use that? It was great when it was there. Just bring it back.
You could even.
Exactly.
You could
I don't want SRL all year. Like I mean, but by all means have a private match one that you did in D1.
Oh yeah.
But I don't need it there as a playlist
all the time.
They could do the 3v3v3
thing. They could do the 3v3v3 thing.
Yeah,
as
in
well,
SRL,
like, in SRL, you could
you could have like
right.
a demolition derby kind of race, couldn't you? Where you're trying to knock each
even
other off the.
Even if it's not that, you just get placement points corresponding to where you finish in the race for your class.
Yeah.
So if you finish first, you get 10 points, and there's 9 people in the race, so it's technically 1 more point than you should get if you was to do it down. But then second place, instead of getting 9, you'd get 8, and so on and so forth. So there is that extra point for getting first.
Yeah, and
one thing I would like to see.
Work.
Yeah, one thing I would like to see though, with regard to Guardian games, isn't just the flags going up and down. I want it to be a bit more obvious how many points people have got, like per day.
Like a digital scoreboard.
Like a digital scoreboard at the bottom.
Yeah, that
keep the fucking flags going up and down because it's kind of cool to look at. Do you know what I mean? But at the same time, give me an actual readout at the bottom where I'm putting in my fucking medals, saying, okay, I mean, Warlocks have scored 100 points today. Titans have scored 150. I know instantly. All right, I need to go and do 5 platinum medals just for me to catch Titans. Obviously, there's going to be Titans doing medals and putting them in. There's going to be Warlocks doing medals and putting them in. So the likelihood is it's going to change dramatically by the time I've done my 5 platinum medals to come back to put them in. Do you know what I mean? But at the same time, at least it can have time to click in my head. All right, they're only 50 points ahead. I can help the Warlocks catch them. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, just as you said, as you Maisie said on there, just not more bounties, man, and try and keep us out of the core activities, because I don't know about you guys, but I've played this game for so many years, and like I really begrudge doing stuff like strikes and Crucible at the moment. Crucible at the moment is just pretty unbearable, even though with the buffs for the nerfs for stasis, I still don't really enjoy it as much as I used to. And Gambit,
I've got a theory with regards.
I mean, Gambit's Gambit, innit?
I've got a theory with regards to what everybody's saying, and it goes back to something I think either Ill Physics, Cool Cheese, or one of the big PvP guys said on Twitter. They said once, and I think maybe Odis might have said it as well, or he at least echoed what this other person said, which was basically, once stasis was nerfed, all the underlining problems for PvP would come to the surface.
Yeah.
And therefore it would become more obvious that just how broken DMT is, just how broken grenade launchers are, just how broken 120 hand cannons are. Like, 120 hand cannons now aren't as used, at least from what I've seen whenever I've gone into PvP, because all I've seen is DMTs. Do you know what I mean?
Well,
Because every
DMT does it all, doesn't it? Kills you
Yeah,
quickly in 3 shots, hip
every
fire,
man and his dog
auto aim.
has DMT nowadays. But
Do you know
one
what
thing
frustrates me about that gun is I can't use it. I'm rubbish at it. Like it just
with it.
doesn't do what it does for other people when I wield that thing. So I just stay
Yeah.
away from it. I'll stick to my 120. I quite like them.
Same with me. But yeah, like regards to, I think I might have mentioned this when we had Crisscross on a couple episodes ago.
Probably did.
When we were talking about DMT and all that. They have proven in the past, oh, with a horde is broken, it's doing unintended levels of damage. You literally step in its pool and it kills you in PvP.
Yeah, I remember that. That was hilarious.
Disable it,
That's funny though.
right?
Yeah.
An exotic is doing something it shouldn't be doing, like the Warlock chest piece with the rifts. You could like have basically infinite rifts if you were using the arc.
Yeah.
Related.
But the thing is
piece.
DMT isn't broken, is it? It's working as it's
Well,
designed to. It's just designed too well.
This is
the
the point,
problem.
right? That's what I was getting to. Is like they've proven time and time again that if there's something's broken, they can just disable it, right? So when people are complaining that DMT does everything, and like you said, it does everything, you can do but like 3-shot you. I've seen Vorpal ones like 2-shot people out of supers, you know, like, and then they don't just disable it. Like you said, it is designed to do what it's supposed to do too well, right? And it's not that, you know, oh, it shouldn't be like that. It should. But when people were there saying to Bungie, look, all I'm dying to is DMT, it's obviously too good. And then people go into the, oh, okay, it's broken. Like, it isn't broken. It is doing exactly as it was intended to do, as designed by the Bungie team. Otherwise, they would have disabled it, right?
Well, yeah.
But when enough people have complained about it for what?
Well, I think they'll address it. But what do you think they'll do?
Basically 2 seasons. I think when they said, I think it was the beginning of this season, they turned around and went, "We've got a fix coming for it. Don't worry." It's like, well, at that point, disable it until the fix is released. Do you know what I mean? That's the way I look at it. Because there's enough people complaining that it is bad.
It's difficult though, isn't it? Because is it so prominent in something like Trials, which is really the only sort of mode that matters? Like, I don't feel like DMT is. Do you think it is?
Yeah, I've seen people who have turned around and gone, okay, going into Trials, right, well, better put my DMT Fellwinters on. Like,
I mean, I haven't been in for a few weeks in any sort of seriousness, so...
More specifically, Warlocks will turn around and say, okay, better put my DMT Fellwinter's Chaos Reach on, or Top Tree Dawn, because, you know, Top Tree Dawn, people don't realise this.
They're
Top
just
Tree Dawn, if you...
perfectly balanced.
Well, you think about it, right? People found
As a
out
Warlock
that
main,
because
I find it offensive that you would suggest that Top Tree Dawn is anything but balanced.
Right. My point being, right, people found out that because of the exotic perk on Lion Ramparts on Titans, you could just basically fly around, hip firing.
Oh god, I haven't even thought of that.
Right? Yeah. Loads of people. My cousin hates cheesy shit like that, and he was using it because other people were using it. It's like, well, if you can't beat them, fucking join them.
Yeah,
well, that becomes the attitude of anything.
If it's one of the only ways to fight someone using it is to use it yourself and, like, you know, put yourself in a better position using the tool, or outshoot them the same way that they're trying to shoot you, you know.
Well, the point I was gonna get to, right, with regards to, because obviously I mentioned Top Tree Dawn. Heat Risers, people don't realize, actually basically does the same thing.
Oh right, yeah.
It gives you Icarus grip, right? Obviously, DMT is an exotic. You can't put Icarus grip on it. You eat your solar grenade on Top Tree Dawn, and guess what? You've got Icarus grip. So yeah.
I'm writing this down.
And whereas with Lion Ramparts, if you aim down sights for even a split second, you'll start dropping. You have to catch yourself and come back up or whatever. Top Tree Dawn, as me and you know as Warlock means, yeah, you can aim down sights all you fucking like, and you'll just keep floating. So, there is. I would admit there is some broken shit that you can do if you know what the fuck you're doing. But at the same time, it relies on you using your grenade, right? So you need a high
to make sure you
build.
got a grenade. Yeah. It's not something that you can intrinsically just go, oh yeah, I'm just gonna do this.
Yeah.
If you do it, you're out until you get a kill or two with it. You then can't make that maneuver until your grenade is gone, or risk you being less accurate.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was saying. With the hip fire, you can just do it generally anyway on a Warlock Top Tree Dawn, right? Because you basically have Lion Ramparts intrinsic, but you don't get the Icarus grip, essentially, right? So your shots are less accurate. They're all over the place.
Which could be useful if you're firing at a group, but if you're trying to pick one person off, no, not that good.
I mean, I don't even like the way DMT feels. I don't use it, to be honest. I really don't use it just because I really don't get on with it. But I get killed by it a lot.
I kind of like the way it feels, as a weapon. I can't hip fire it. I'll just miss almost every shot, all of the time.
Yeah, it's not my favorite, but yeah, I get killed by it all the time.
I can think maybe I might be. I haven't used it in ages, but I might be better with it now that I've been playing. Because I made another account on Apex, right, to get into. Because I played Apex on controller, right. I made another account to do M&K, and a big part of the close quarter engagements in that game are hip fire, right? So I'm used to now hip firing stuff that is a lot harder because there's no bullet magnetism like there is in Destiny. I feel like maybe if I was to give DMT another try, I'll probably be a lot better than I used to be with it.
Go nuts because everyone else does.
But that's what I mean. At the same time, I'm not one of these that wants to say, all right, don't use that gun because it's broken. Don't use this because it's broken. Don't use use whatever the fuck you like. But at the same time, I'm somebody who wants to improve myself, so I'm not going to use the cheesy shit that gets me easy kills. Do you know what I mean? You're not improving your game knowledge of where to better position yourself.
I mean, to be honest, I'm old enough where I've already had my peak in multiplayer competitive shooting. I did all that. I did all that in my 20s with COD, and now I'd kill to have some 20-year-olds retinas so that my eyes are absolutely knackered.
You wouldn't want mine.
No, he wears glasses.
Well, no, my retina's probably fine. It's the bit of curve in the front that's bad.
Yeah, I mean, I've accepted I'm average, but and one of my favorite PvP creators is Destiny Fun Police Shake. So my joy in Destiny is watching his videos and using the weird loadouts that he finds. He'll find an old gun and kind of go, oh, this one actually really slaps. If you use the right build sort of thing. And that's what I like to do in Crucible, if I'm honest. I don't really treat it with any sort of seriousness now, unless I'm playing Trials, and then you just go for the meta loadout, don't you?
Yeah, but I don't.
I don't play Trials very often, and as my
but one thing I do in Crucible is I just haha. If I'm just playing 3 games to get me weekly or whatever, then I don't give a shit. I'll just play the 3 games and be done with it. My performance is usually somewhere between slightly above average and quite a bit below average. But what I do find weirdly enjoyable and also frustrating as all hell is trying to play Iron Banner, when that comes round, at low
Right.
light with a Kvostov.
Can I like also say one of my favorite things to do whenever I'm playing Gambit or PvP with you, Kit?
Go on.
Sometimes you'll just have Divinity on, and it's fucking hilarious to see the bubble appear on someone, and I just go boom with my 120 and they're dead. Like,
Yeah. Invader comes in. If they don't like pick me off straight away, they've got a bubble on them.
brilliant. I love it.
It's great.
But yeah, I just think they needed when they acknowledged that it is in some way, shape, or form broken, because they said DMT is getting a fix, or it's getting a nerf, or
Yeah,
whatever.
they will,
it,
man.
however they
what
phrased
they could
it,
do is,
however they phrased
Yeah.
it, as soon as they acknowledged that it was broken in some way, they just disabled it.
nah, I
Forced
don't know
everybody
about
that was
that. I don't.
forced everybody that was crotching on it to go and use something else.
Yeah, but doing that'd spoil everyone's fun.
It's also pretty good in PvE though as well. That's the kind of annoying. Like, it's like whack-a-mole, isn't it? If you disabled it for the PvP crowd, you'd then get the uprising of the PvE crowd saying, "Well, hang on, I quite like using my Vorpal DMT or whatever in PvE." For when there's scout, anti-barrier and stuff, it's actually not bad
Yeah.
when you're doing solo stuff and that. So, I don't know. It's a difficult one, but I mean they'll fix it. I mean my instant idea for a fix would be just to lower the damage that it does in PvP and leave it the same in PvE. Like so it takes an extra shot, so so that you can't 3 shot someone when it's hip firing or something.
Well, I think I think the thing is it's a 120, right? When you aim down sight. So
Yeah.
it has rightfully so a 120
But who's getting killed by
damage-
someone aiming
like
in
damage.
sights?
like damage profile, right?
Yeah, that's what he's getting to.
What if it just did a lower damage profile when it's not aimed down sight?
And that's essentially what they do with
that's kinda
Surus,
what
isn't
I'm
it?
saying. Yeah, yeah.
You know, when the rate of fire changes, the damage is adjusted to match it.
Yeah, and I mean that's what I would do. That's what I was kind of trying to say. Is just make it do less damage, hip fire.
Because I don't
So
think
it has to be like
if somebody
4
wants to try
headshots.
and use it in a skillful manner, aiming down sight, I don't think you should punish them. But the
No.
people that just go, oh, the catalyst for this gun is really broken. Let me abuse the fuck out of this because it does 120 damage profile at a 150 fire rate.
Mm.
Yeah, fuck those guys. Like, nerf their shit into the ground. I don't care. Make it do
Yeah.
absolutely nothing and just be a tickle gun.
That's the problem with Destiny is though there's probably something not far behind it that will then become the
Yeah,
thing. isn't
exactly.
there? As you said, grenade launchers. Like there's now a pretty decent primary grenade launcher that you can get slide shot and God knows what on it. And like I saw someone's clip of someone going around with a slide shot ignition code, and I was just like, "That's disgusting."
I've got
Like
slide shot
literally,
Vorpal.
it's just absolutely disgusting. But I mean, I couldn't do that. Do you know what I mean? As I said before, I've already peaked. I'm average now, and I wouldn't be able to do. I wouldn't never be able to recreate that clip. But would I be able to have a bit of fun with it and slide around and get a few kills that I probably shouldn't have done? Probably. Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of things that are ruining the game experience,
Thank you. I tried that before. You didn't catch it, but yeah.
there's been an emblem. We've got an article here that's basically discussing that it's being sold on eBay. You said eBay, right, Kit?
Yeah, it was on eBay at one point. I couldn't find one on our eBay, which probably means that either they've all been sold or they've been pulled off.
Yeah, I'd imagine that after DMG wrote the tweet they pulled off. They've even included the tweet right here in the article as well. So what I'll do is I'll close the article and we'll just go back to the tweet.
Okay.
Yeah, basically. All right, Fiend. Basically, the data miners went into the API code of the game and found the
As they do.
spicy ramen coupon emblem, which they obviously had a code and shit for, because it's all connected through like Bungie's website and that. And they were selling these codes, elsewhere. So obviously DMG come out and just went, okay, the jig is up. Don't buy those codes because it's a free gift for Bungie Day, which is July 7th, if I remember correctly.
Yep.
It is, yeah, 7th.
Yep. Because Bungie does like their 7s.
Yeah. From us to you, data miners, please stop spoiling content, whether it's story or emblem codes. I know it can be exciting to be the first person with cool info, but please respect the fun. And we kind of touched upon this in regards to leading into Season of the Splicer. It was determined that Splicer was the Splicer was
and the name,
was the name. And I was like, I saw it on Twitter and it fucking ruined it. I muted that word. I muted Splicer, so I didn't see anything else on it. But the fact that I had the name itself, Season of the Splicer, ruined for me was just annoying. I like seeing the little marketing things that Bungie put out and go, oh, this is sick. What's the name of the season? Come on, tell me. And then at the end it just reveals Season of the whatever, like Season of the Splicer in the case of this season, you know what I mean? But when the introduction thing for this season came out, just before the season started, and it's like going through all this stuff with regards to Mithrax and, about the Splicers, I'm like, well, this is going to be called Season of the Splicer, isn't it? That leak that I saw on Twitter was right, and then boom, came up Season of the Splicer. I'm like, cool. It's like there was no excitement there because I had it fucking ruined, and
yeah. I mean, I don't even know how I saw it because I never seek these things out, but I saw
people just share it. Like, that's the point. Like,
well, yeah, like I mean, the main sort of turning point. I guess it's okay now because we've kind of, it's kind of
and
obvious
thing,
now. Like, Osiris acting all sus, like that was part of this leak. And I was like, right, well that's good, isn't it? Like, like as soon as that story beat started hitting, I was like, oh, so that leak was right, and it's just completely ruined. Do you know what I mean?
See, I haven't looked at any of the leaks for the story like later on in the season, but I know that Cyrus acting sus is part of whatever comes later this season. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. I mean that's all I'll say because that's as far as we've got. But that is the Osiris part is part of the leak that I've seen, and it's just completely ruined this season for me in one way.
Here's the thing, on another note, right? DMG tweets this out and asks for data miners to stop spoiling the content, right? Somebody here has the fucking audacity to say, community managers, maybe don't tweet about this shit because now you've spoiled it.
What?
Hello, motherfucker. People are selling these things online, and let's say out of the three of us. Let's say out of the three of us, I'm an emblem collector, right? I want to go and get this emblem. I see it being sold online. I'm like, okay, I'll buy that. And then I buy it. And then in a week, 2 weeks time, when Bungie Day, it comes free for everyone. I'm like, why the fuck did I spend 20, 30, 40, whatever price they were asking on this fucking emblem? It was free for everyone. They're trying. This is damage control.
The sort of person that buys an emblem off eBay. It's probably the same person that pays for like trials recovs and raid recovs and stuff.
Yeah.
So, I mean, my sympathy is thin, but at the same time, don't sell emblems.
So two things, and one of them kind of hooks onto what you just said there. But the first one is that with that tweet there, was that, so if you're keeping up with the Destiny community at large, it's probably going to have already been spoiled for you. But if you just follow like some people, like if you just follow the community managers and the news, Bungie help and stuff like that, if you hadn't heard about it until now and then they go, oh yeah, there's this thing, don't go and buy it, then it is ruined for you. And probably what happened to that guy. There will be people like that who just didn't know anything about it, and then
my point being,
so
this is damage
your point
control.
Is it's lesser evil. It's the lesser evil telling everyone and not letting them spend the money, isn't it?
That's what I'm trying to say. Like it's damage control.
The second thing was in that article that you switched away from before. There was the quote from someone who was selling the emblem, and I think of the people who are selling the emblem, you know, most people won't be like this, but I quite like the approach that this guy had, right? And I say guy because we don't know, you know. I'm just going based on a
You don't
username.
want to misgender them, but you're going off the username.
I'm going off the username, and we have literally no other information to go on. But they've said, you know, it's something like people wanted it because it was unknown. You know, something to flex that they've got before the rest of the world. So it's not necessarily that like, oh yeah, I've got it and no one else has got it. It's like I had it first. You know, that sort of ideal. You know, the mystery behind it was showing a lot of players. Tons of people were interested when they heard about it. You know,
I couldn't care less myself.
The second half of this was that he then goes on to say, not a single person I gave the emblem to or sold to was angry. I even offered refunds, all of which were declined.
It goes back to what Project said, wasn't it? It's people who are willing to pay for it are probably the ones that are paying for trials records and shit.
Yeah, they're just like, I don't care. It's some disposable income.
Yeah, that's what I mean. They've got money to throw away.
And there are who was it? They had a quote from someone else who was saying, Tristan, someone.
Sorry guys, my cat doesn't understand I'm doing a podcast. I'm just gonna have to let her out. I'll be back in like 1 minute. Hold on.
That's alright.
I was just gonna reel off this quote. Was that someone else that they said? The thing that sets people off, though understandably, is when charity event emblems are resold for higher prices. Like that's no.
Yeah, that is definitely a no.
If it's something like this where it's just like $5 and you get it a couple of weeks early, and you were gonna get it anyway, it's not. You know, it's a much lesser evil.
Yeah.
You know, it's like the ones where you can go and buy the toaster emblem for twice the cost of the fucking toaster. No.
What? You're already only paying £50 fucking or whatever it was that we worked out last week. But the fucking emblem.
Here's the thing: some places it's that £50 plus like 120 for delivery, if you can get it delivered to your country at all.
Oh, the toaster.
Yeah, the toaster.
I was gonna say the emblem. You need to pay postage for a fucking emblem.
No, but like you're not gonna because it's part of the order, isn't it?
Yeah.
So to get the emblem, you buy the toaster, which means you've got to pay delivery on the toaster.
Like, we worked it out last week, right? There was toasters that were like £35 and it's like £85 or whatever. Yeah. And so you were basically paying the extra £50 for the emblem.
And a piece of plastic to hold your sandwich.
Yeah. So like the point I was trying to make is like you paying £50 extra already than what you should have been doing just for the emblem. So like why are you gonna go and buy it for twice as much as the toaster itself? That just doesn't make any fucking sense to me.
But people will pay for what they need to get. And as annoying as it is, because it's a charity item.
The point is, though, you don't need to get it. It's just you want it.
No, you don't. Yeah, exactly.
And
there are a lot of people who, not even specifically in our community or around Twitch and stuff, but there are people who will go. It's actually specifically why there's a demand for trials carriers and stuff in the first place, is that there are people who look at it and go, I kind of want that weapon. Or a new roll on it, but I can't be asked going to trials with all of the recos and cheaters and stuff. I'll just get that guy to do it for me.
See, cheaters, that's to me that's on Bungie, right? They need to work out a way of putting some sort of anti-cheat in place. Anti-cheat doesn't stop cheaters. Let's face it, right? No. Cheaters are still like Apex has anti-cheat, right? Easy anti-cheat is the name of it. You know, it's not fucking
easy
great.
To bypass. Is that what it means?
Probably. But anyway, there's still cheaters in Apex. right?
It's like a bolt. So it's like it's a piece of software that people have written that you can basically just throw into any game. The downside to which is that obviously if someone bypasses it in one game, they've then got it for any other game that's using that system.
Yeah. So my point being though, there's an anti-cheat in place, right? And there's still cheaters in Apex. They have their enforcement team. Hideouts is the head of security, I think it is called, at Apex. At Respawn even, like for Apex. And the big guys like you know, your NRG Suite, your TSM Imperial House, they can all like DM hideouts and just say, look, this guy's cheating, here's my evidence. And 9 times out of 10, whilst they're spectating them on their stream, like on Imperial House stream, on Dreams, Sweet Dreams stream or whatever, like whatever the team, the streamer, the pro player basically stream, they will get banned and you can actually see them just get kicked out of the game. Alright, because hideouts goes into the straight into the software that they use to like keep people connected to the servers or whatever the whole system is, and just kicks them out and bans them from it.
I just feel like there's so many layers to cheating in trials though, because as you said, like people are going in there with the mentality of, right, this isn't very accessible, I can't get the guns I want, so I'll get a recov. But then in that recov scene, there's also quite a lot of people who take these people's accounts and then use cheats to get them their flawless card. So quite a lot of the proportion of cheaters in Destiny are like people are accounts that are kind of oblivious that that cheats are being used on it. Do you know what I mean? So I would argue that something is better than nothing. Like if they can put something in place, yes, it wouldn't get rid of all of them, but at the moment, like people making money off recovs are like basically dominating trials because they're all using cheats and no one wants to play.
Either that or they're extremely good players like Grenada Jakes. Do you know what I mean?
So my
very recently is getting so frustrated with playing trials that he didn't want to play it, did he? Like there was a few weeks ago, he was like, I just can't play this, and he had a break, I think, of playing trials. He did like VOG and stuff the next week, and it's like, oh.
I think there was a video Frostbolt put out earlier today as well. It was like, I didn't. It was from Glassway, and he goes, I thought aimbot was only in trials. Like that made me fucking laugh. It's in our clan Discord kit if you want to.
I'll take a peek at it later.
Yeah, those fallen snipers are deadly in that GM.
I mean, Odis has got a good point in chat. Just delete trials and replace it with a rank system like what Apex has. I completely agree, to be honest. There needs to be more. I
mean, when comp was good. Like, you know, when there was stuff to go after. At the same time,
where I was going with the whole cheat thing with regards to Apex, right? There's still cheaters in Apex, right? But they've got something there. And there is a way for, you know, the higher ups that are skilled players to access the security team at the developer and say, look, this person's cheating, get rid of them. And then they go in, check all the data, and then get rid of them. Alright. As I was saying earlier, I'm somebody who wants to go in to Crucible and make myself get better. So I won't use the cheesy shit that's OP, like DMT. Right? Yes, I'll use Fellwinters, but it's a shotgun. It's a good shotgun. There's basically no other shotgun that can like really compete with it. Let's face it.
Why don't you learn your skill on a slug shotgun and go against the grain?
I do use what's it called? Chaperone every now and then. I've actually got clips.
Chaperone's my highest kill in PvP.
I've got a clip of me getting a collateral with Chaperone.
Oh, nice.
But yeah, like my point being, someone like me, I want to go into trials and enjoy it and play people who are either on my skill level or slightly better than me, you know, depending on where the matchmaking finds us, and you know, to slowly make myself get better because I'm playing people of a band around about the same level and maybe slightly better. I don't want to be like going in and going, okay, well, this guy, you know, I've seen a friend of a friend, and I classify this friend of a friend as a friend as well. So we all know, well, me and Kit know Wiggy Styles. We had him on the podcast a few weeks back.
Yes, sir.
A friend of his, Dylan, who again, like I said, I classify him as a friend as well. He is quite big into trials. Like he was playing it on PC, but then obviously runs into cheaters. He's like, yeah, fuck that, and he's gone back to playing it on Xbox. So he's helping people with it on Xbox. And it's like, fair enough, dude. Like, you know, you got it there to be able to do that. Do that. If you've got skills on both platforms, don't do that sort of thing. But at the same time, I'm like, I would rather play someone of my skill level than someone of Dylan's that's, you know, on somebody else's account. I've seen him stream, like he streams, and I see like him turning around in his stream and go, okay, this should be an easy game. This person's got a 0.5 and blah blah this that and the other. You know, going into trial stat check or whatever it's called. All right, and then they'll get into the game and the guy's hitting nothing but headshots. It's like, that's a bit sus. Do you know what I mean? You go from a 0.5
to me, to make trials.
It's clearly, as you said, Project, a recov that is cheating.
Yeah, and to me, there's probably like 2 or 3 steps to making trials really good and fun again. Like anti-cheat is top priority. Yes, it won't get rid of all of them, but it'll get rid of some of them. I think the second most important one is incentives. Like the weekend where they had Igneous Hammer as the 3-win victory, you didn't really see that many cheaters because there was a lot of people like just playing. Do you know what I mean? Like a lot of people went, oh, well, I might be able to muster up 3 wins, and all of a sudden you get loads and loads of teams of more average players playing trials. You know, they might have one shit hot player.
It's not accessible at all.
Yeah, and the reason it's not accessible, I mean, that bounty where you get the 3rd win victory, that's such a humiliating bounty. Like, what, lose 10 games? And you get, like, in D1, you used to be able to do, like, things like, you know, get a certain amount of super kills or get a certain amount of kills in trials.
Yeah.
And you would get a bounty reward of one of the guns. And I don't know why they don't do, like, if you could go in as a casual player to trials every week and get maybe one weapon and 1 armor piece, like, per week.
Well,
No,
this is the thing.
Not adept, obviously.
I seen
But
a
if you
tweet.
could do that with less humiliating bounties, I think more people would play it, and you wouldn't see as many cheaters anyway. But then with anti-cheat, you know, cheaters would be very scarce.
I think I seen a tweet, or it was somebody discussing it in either a video or on a stream that I was in, where basically it was somebody turned around and said they are of the opinion that trials, 3, 5, 7 wins and flawless should, if they're going to keep the current system, should be weapons all the time, and then armor should be random drops at the end of each match. It will randomly pick a piece of armor. Well, you know, it will basically have 6 options, right? Each piece of armor, and then nothing. And it will just randomly roll through all 6 of those at the end of each game. If you obviously have the ghost mod on that gives you double rewards, it will roll that twice. And if you get something, you get something. You don't. But
I mean, you could scale it,
especially with the fact that you can turn the armor into ornaments now. It would make the armor more accessible to more of the community. And then those that go flawless and stuff, they've got their adept weapons. You know what I mean? But then they've also got a chance if they play every week. Let's say they've got a Igneous Hammer from 1 week. They're like, oh, I don't like this roll. Okay, next week it's at 5 wins. All right, I'm gonna go for 5 wins. Let's see if I can get it. You know what I mean? And also, I personally, as somebody who doesn't really play it as all that often, and to make it more casual centric, essentially, I know it's not supposed to be. It's supposed to be the
But
pinnacle
more accessible,
activity.
yeah. You want to make it a bit
Uh,
more accessible, you mean?
but the point I'm trying to say is, it is accessible if there's enough people playing, as you said, up
Yeah.
to three wins, and occasionally up to 5, depending on
Yeah.
what teams you get matched.
What the reward? Yeah.
Anything after 5, you're basically guaranteed to be playing great
Really
players.
good teams or cheaters. Yeah.
Yeah, and anything after 3, you're basically 50-50 in, are you going to play a great team,
Yeah.
are you going to play a shit team?
Yeah.
I think maybe there should be a degree of protection. If you are 1 to 3, it shouldn't match you based on the amount of wins you've got. It should match you on like an average AD of your squad, or something like that. Do you know what I mean?
Something like that. Yeah.
So that the games are a lot more closer, and you're not just 5-1ing people or getting 5-1'd. Like, but then one of the things I was going to say to like when I got onto this is saying it was kind of make it more casualized, but as you said, make it more accessible. Is maybe just turn around and say at the beginning of the season, all right, here you go, you've got week 1, here's your weapons, right? Let's say Igneous Hammer at 3, Messenger at 5, Eye of Soul at 7, and then whatever the 3-win reward is the Adept. So in the example given, Igneous Hammer. So Igneous Hammer Adept would be your flawless reward, right? Then add in the system I was on about, where I've seen somebody say about the rolling for armor after each game. And then the next week, Messenger becomes 3 wins, Eye of Soul becomes 5 wins, and then you put in Solar Scar as 7, and obviously Messenger Adept. Do you know what I mean? So
yeah, like a definitive sort of schedule, you mean?
Yeah, it just basically, if people are after a certain weapon, let's say I don't have an Astral, right? I've wanted an Astral since Season of the Hunt. Alright? I'm like, okay,
Oh, someone's got
just
some
had
background
Astral.
TV going on there, by the way.
Yeah, Kit. We've just had
Sorry.
So I would then be able to, if the system I am suggesting with the weapons and stuff and all that's just, if that's put in place, right, you could turn around and go, all right, Astral's just been at 5 wins, I know next week it's at 3 wins, so I'm gonna play next week, and you can organize with people, organize with your friends. I could get, for argument's sake, Dunes and Odus in the chat, or in mine and Kit's, like in the clan that me and Kit are in. I could turn around to them and go, yo, you're playing this week, I need an Astral. Do you know what I mean? You can actually definitively organize things at least 2 weeks in advance. You can organize your squad.
Yeah. I don't think that's a bad idea. My only criticism of that would be, because of the selection of weapons, there would definitely be certain weeks where it would be that horrible sweaty atmosphere, and no one would really be playing, if you know what I mean. So say it was Fusion at 3, Sword at 5, and I don't know, what else is the SMG at 7, Rocket, at 7, then that week's going to be pretty crap, isn't it? No one's going to play. But yeah, as you say, it does kind of protect the more average players on the good weeks, because as you say, they'll have had time to plan and get a team together and go in there and try and get it. So I don't know. I mean, there's so much they could do, but I think the feeling from the PvP community, and as someone who considers himself formally part of the PvP community, because I used to love playing D1 PvP in amongst the seasons, because there wasn't, not seasons, DLCs, because there wasn't anything else to do, because we didn't have seasons. And I really miss the fact that I used to love PvP, but now it feels almost as much of a chore as Gambit. Like, apart from playing like with my clan, as you said, like in Nyan Banner and stuff, like that's always really fun. But that's fun because it's 6 of us stacking against people, and like some of the flaws of PvP. You don't feel them as much when you've got 5 friends all helping you and you can all chat to each other. Do you know what I mean? It's
Yeah, as Otis just said in chat, Gambit is better than Trials right now.
yeah, which is saying something. And do you know what? There's not much wrong with Gambit. It suffers the same problem as PvP. We've not had a new map for 2 years to play
In fact,
Gambit in.
Yeah, and they've taken maps out. There's only like what?
And if anyone's like me and has done every single one of those seasonal Gambit guns, I don't know if it's just me, but did anyone else think that the grind for those particular weapons was way worse than the strike and the PvP one? Like, it was so much Gambit to get those guns, and I'm just bored of it. Like, you know, like I'm really just bored of Gambit because the game made me play it so much to get the guns that I wanted.
You're talking like Python and right?
Yeah, Python, and back in the day, what was that auto rifle called that was really good, that ramped up
Breakneck.
speed? It was like a breakneck, yeah, it was like a mini Suros.
Adapt
Like-
PS5. I wish.
Well, yeah,
Well, some changes are necessary, some small, some big, but what won't change is the fact that we've got some more topics. So, if you haven't noticed by now, I don't talk much. I just sort of sit here and monitor what's going on, as
And
do
then
our
move us-
beloved NPCs on the tower.
And then move us along when he needs to.
Yeah, like now. So, pre-topic public service announcement. If you haven't logged into Destiny yet this week, this is going to spoil a little bit of a surprise, but it's not massively story or lore related. It's just something that's happened this week. You might want to log in and check it out. Okay, that's out the way. Right.
That being
so,
said, the tower has kind of got the Dreaming City treatment, if you will.
yeah.
One minute it was completely fine, the next taken-ified.
random spheres and taking goo everywhere.
Which I'm finding really odd. I'm like, Zavala, turn around, dude. There's like a massive taken blight behind you, and you're just staring out into
Yeah.
the sea.
I mean, I actually did think about that earlier today. I was running around the tower. I think I went over to near Ikora because I went to see Hawthorne clan engrams and stuff. And I was just like, and then I noticed, as it says here in this article, it's only in the courtyard where the blight balls are, right? And I was walking around, and I went into the, I always forget what that area is where Ikora is, but it's above the annex.
Yeah.
And I was there, and I'm like, oh, the blights aren't here. And I was like, hang on a minute, why didn't we get anything mentioned in the seasonal story bits? You know, talking to Osiris and Saint
Yeah, they didn't really mention it, did they?
about, oh shit, we got this whole thing about, oh, the Endless Night's getting worse, but we can tell it's getting worse because there's taken blights in the fucking tower.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
It's very, very odd, but I mean, it's cool, but it's very strange that, I mean, I'm kind of hoping, as someone who's a bit of a lore nerd, I'm kind of hoping that they kind of explain away the fact that the NPCs aren't behaving
Reacting.
differently because they've all heard Savafine's song. Therefore, maybe they're kind of calmed to what's going on, if you know what I mean. Like,
Yeah.
they know it's happening, but they're not reacting as they should because they're kind of under a spell. And it would be kind of
Sort of
cool
like
if we
their
were the only ones like
subconscious
not
is
really
taking over.
affected by it. You know what I mean? And we had to kind of like help out. But I don't know if they'll go that deep. Do you know what I mean? I mean, they've been pretty good. Like, I can't criticize the storytelling recently. It's been really good, but
I mean, in terms of the actual storyline, sure, little bits happening here and there, like they kind of sprung the simulation on us out of nowhere, but then sort of explained that a little bit.
Yeah.
And then now there's this. It's like, what is this? Something that like the Vex are anticipating?
I would have really liked a cutscene of the Endless Night like rolling in.
Yeah.
Not just, oh, now the Vex can put a simulation over the entirety of the city that makes it an endless night, that's sapping all their resources making it
I
so
mean, it
that
would
they
be
can't grow
nice,
crops and stuff.
but at the
like,
same time, I kind of understand. It's because video game. We got to transfer the season and do an update, and therefore, they could have had an opening cutscene, I guess, when we first loaded in the new season, but I don't know.
there's
Maybe they
something
just haven't got the resources to do it.
even something where it just
There was a splash screen, if I remember correctly,
there's
though,
a few
right?
sparks, and then a Vex Hydra, because we know they can float and fly, right? Appears below the Traveler and then goes back into a portal, and sparks come from the portal and then spread out and turn into the Endless Night. And then in the cutscene you've got the Ikora talking to Zavala. Right, we need to get the Guardian on this. We need to get a specialist in, like someone who has a great deal of knowledge of machines, and then maybe given the opportunity for our character to, because our character spoke when Cade died, right, and said
Organs of his mind.
Organs of his mind. Yeah. Maybe because we worked with Mithrax in the 0 hour mission, our Guardian could turn around and go, I know just the guy, or I know just the specialist.
Yeah, it would have
And then
been
just
cool,
turn around
definitely.
and walks off. Turns around and walks off, and then we land on Europa. We do the entire introductory story mission that we did, and boom, we go throughout the season for the rest, as it has done.
I think that's a better version of what they did do, but they did. I'm sure there was a splash screen though when we first loaded in that said blah blah blah. This is what's happened. You need to go speak to Ikora, and then she was like, "Right, you need to go and find Mithrax or something." I'm sure that's what happened right when we first loaded in, wasn't it?
Yeah, but the thing is that the way that was delivered is so forgettable, and a lot of people will just skip the cutscene and then not bother reading the whole dialogue. They'll just go, "I just want to get on with this. Next."
But they did make a mission, you did get an opening mission, which is cool. You don't always get that.
See, here's the thing though. They did that, and they used to make you do the opening mission on all 3, and this season it changed. So you only have to do it once. I would like to see an option where if I want to repeat said mission, I can.
You can, yeah.
Because I did my mission the day, because I didn't used to stream on Tuesdays, and now I do. I did my mission as soon as the update rolled through. I did the mission, started off the new season on my Warlock, completely in the mindset of, oh, I'll do this on stream tomorrow, because I streamed Wednesdays at that point. I'll do this on stream tomorrow on my Titan. Loaded up on my Titan, started stream, talking about doing it, and then I load into my Titan, and it just goes, oh yeah, you can go to the helm and talk to
yeah,
the Splicer.
Just talk to the Splicer.
What? I want to do the introduction mission. It's cool. I want to show it off on stream. I want to have it on record that I've done it. Do you know what I mean? I know I've done it. People know from me doing, seasonal content. I've done it, but I ain't got no evidence, essentially, video proof.
I feel you, but that's a creator problem, isn't it? I guess Bungie don't.
But that's why I'm saying. That's why I'm saying, rather than doing what they used to do, which is you've got to do this on all 3 characters, because it is something that does get old. Give you the option. Yeah. Just give me a little node on Europa that says seasonal story. Boom, done.
And I also feel, because I think what really is working, it is the same model that was the Season of the Hunt. It's just that Season of the Hunt wasn't particularly very good in terms of the activity, in my opinion. But the model itself, I think, is pretty good, because they've kind of hit their stride with seasons now, in my opinion.
Well, Season of the Hunt was designed on the old model of it lasts 3 months and then it's fucking out of it.
Yeah.
Season of the Chosen was the first one that was designed with this is sticking around for the whole year, which is why we've got the playlist for Battlegrounds, right?
Yeah.
And on that point, when Season of the Chosen launched, we got 2 Battlegrounds, and that playlist. We are 8-9 months, 6-7 weeks into this season, and we still don't have
new stuff coming.
Yeah, but we still don't have a playlist for all of the overrides. It's just whatever the weekly featured one is. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that also, at the same time, it launched with one override.
Well, no,
Season of the Hunt.
it's the weekly. There's a weekly corrupted one, but you can do the other two.
Yeah, but that is the expunge mission. That's not the override.
Oh right, okay.
Right?
Oh,
So
yeah,
that's
yeah,
kind of
yeah,
like
I see what you're
Presage.
saying now. Yeah, I see
Was
what you're
that.
saying now.
So, in my opinion, if you go back to Season of the Hunt as well, whilst yes, it was the worst one. I agree, content-wise, what you had to do for, the grind, doing the hunts and stuff. In comparison to Chosen and now Splicer, given the option at the beginning of the season of the hunt, you could go and grind the fuck out of it and have all 4, because there was only 4 at the begin with, if you remember, and then they added the high celebrant one later. All 4 hunts unlocked if you really grinded it out and like mid-max how you were buying things and shit, right? So there's 4, right? Then next season, Season of the Chosen, launches with 2 battlegrounds. Now battlegrounds are basically mini strikes. So in comparison to the hunts, you could say, all right, 2 is fair enough in comparison to 4, right? You just put
compared to a hunt, yeah.
Yeah, you put the 2 hunts into 1 and it make a thingy. But at the same time, it's 4 down to 2, right? So it doesn't look great. There's more meat on the bone, but it still look, awesome. It's like basically saying, would you rather have a bunch of little chicken wings, or would you like to have one big chicken leg? You know what I mean? That's essentially the way I look at it.
Yeah, I mean, feel like...
And then arrives Season of the Splicer, and we've got one override, which is basically the same length as a battleground, and add on to that it's just glorified Gambit. For me, this season, the seasonal content. I mean,
everything's either balls or moats, right?
Yeah, I literally engage with it on a weekly basis to do the weekly mission, and then I'm out.
Do you no longer have you finished your pinnacle grind? Do you not do enough to get a pinnacle?
No, I am not doing pinnacle grind. I haven't.
Okay.
I'm not GM ready. In fact, my stream title this morning was
I ain't doing them.
1335 for GMs ? No ? Then better get on that pinnacle grind, because that's what I was doing. I was doing pinnacles.
Yeah.
Because I want.
I'm sure you can appreciate the way that the season has been designed is that you play it once for the point of progressing the mission, and then they kind of expect you to do the pinnacle amount. So what's that, 3? And then I don't think they expect you to be grinding it like solidly as if that's any bit of content, because they do direct you to the other activities quite a lot.
I'm just saying, after the 3 for the pinnacle, I'm basically burnt out on the entirety of the game. I'm like, well, this is boring. I'm just gonna go and play Apex. Do you know what I mean?
And I think, I mean, I can see the last talk. We've kind of gone into the last talking point now, haven't we? A little bit.
Yeah.
But
Which I'll bring it up. There we go.
I mean, you may as well. Here we go. The Twab link is in as well if you haven't already grabbed that.
Alright,
it's pretty short today, so we're okay for now.
Alright. But yeah, basically, like, as Lysis says here, if D2 in its current state was released instead of D1, it would have been loved a whole lot more than D1 ever was. Right? I agree to a certain extent, but at the same time, there are certain things that D2 does better, certain things that D1 does better. Stats-wise, like armor-wise, I think some of the armor and exotics and ornaments are available for exotics, and then obviously now ornaments, the fact that we've got transmog is done better in D2. I think the class abilities was a needed thing to sort of differentiate the classes more, rather than just, oh, okay, each one's got a different set of grenades or something. And even then in D1, Hunter, Night Stalker, and Voidlock had the Vortex grenade, which they both still do in D2. You know, but again, there's certain things that D1 did better. For me, the whole system in D2 for the raids of somebody dies, you have 2 minutes to pick them up, or you wipe, is fucking stupid.
Yeah,
And
I
needs to
agree
just
with that.
needs to just disappear, because then they could do like they did with D1, the normal mode you can revive, and then hard mode you can't revive. And people die, it just makes it harder and harder and harder. It allows for you to do that degree of
the difficulty in that is I feel like D1 raids were kind of designed for you to be able to pull off those hero moments, whereas D2, like Garden of Salvation, for example, the last boss, like you ain't doing that with anything but a full fire team, unless you're like obviously the sort of really good players who do low man activities and stuff like that. You know, it's a difficult encounter, and I think in hard mode, if you couldn't revive, like 9 times out of 10, an average team is going to wipe if someone dies, or
yeah. But the point of that is, it's the hard mode. You know, if you're an average team, play normal. Get used to the encounters.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that average team could pull off hard mode in D1. Do you know what I mean? Like even if someone like Wrath of the Machine, for example, you know that could whittle down to blooming 3 people, and you could still do the stuff that you needed to do. It was difficult, but you could do it. But Garden, I just can't see it personally. Like like being able to do stuff on it. There's just so much to that encounter, and some of the raids that aren't in there at the moment, I wouldn't fancy doing with no revives at all. I think it would be really hard. But like Vogue, for example, is really weird because you kind of, because it's still a D1 raid, I've noticed playing it that when someone dies, kind of the reason you're getting them up is because of that timer, not because you can't complete the encounter.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean. Whereas in the actual DT raid, you're getting them up because you kind of need them to do their job. But I mean, I agree with that statement because
and then
like what you just said about getting.
Here's the other thing: the classes wise, like subclasses, D1 did it better. The customization was a whole lot more.
But it still wasn't great. Do you know what I mean? Like, I mean, I know now you have 0 choice. You basically have 3 choices, and you can't mix and match anything on there.
But that's my point, though. Like, I would rather be able to choose on Nova Lock. I'd rather be able to choose Slover, Devour, or as we've got now, we've got Nova Warp. But obviously, back in D1, we had Lance, right?
Yeah.
Give me that. Yeah, give me that choice. Let me pick that, and then okay, I want Lance, so I can fire a Nova Bomb just straight at something. And I want
Shatter. Shatter was good.
Yeah, I want Devour on that.
Yeah, but I mean, I guess then you're probably you're gonna lose. You're gonna lose certain abilities then, though, or they're gonna be heavily tweaked. Because let's use Void Warlock as an example for that, right? So that means you could have handheld Supernova, Blink, Slover Bomb, and possibly what could you have as the melee that's really good? You could have the melee that gives you your grenade back, so you could get your handheld Supernova back even quicker. So like those sort of builds are going to be so broken, the game will be trivial. So they'd have to do a massive rework to get that sort of choice in, like you did in D1, because the changes in D1 weren't that big.
At the same time, Devour procs off of a melee, and it gives you your grenade back. People do not know that, but it does. If you read it, it says it basically gives you Demolitionist while Devour is active. So,
well, that's what I mean. That just proves the point further, doesn't it? There'd have to be a massive rework for them to give you that sort of choice in those skill trees, because you can make some awfully broken builds. Do you know what I mean? Like, imagine having the weighted hunter's throwing knife and the multiple golden gun like super and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? Like, it would be insane.
At the same time though, like,
it would be great, but I can't imagine much.
For 2 years or 600 days or whatever it's been, they've done nothing for, PvP. Like you said, no new Gambit maps. In fact, they've taken maps out in Beyond Light.
Yeah, taken maps out of Gambit. Yeah.
it seems to me they've moved the seems to me the PvP team is more working on the new PvP centric IP that they're doing.
That seems to be the rumor, yeah,
right.
which doesn't surprise me.
And if that's the
But
case,
they have come out several times and said they are committed to improving Destiny's PvP. But
at the same time,
what sort of time scale are we talking?
the way I would say it is just turn the game into a PvE game. Seriously, and then
There's so much love for the PvP amongst the hate. There's a
balance
lot of love
issues-
in there, man. There's a lot
the
of love in
balance
there.
issues
for
though that
Destiny
you're coming up
PvP.
with, the balance issues you just came up with in response to make the classes just like Destiny 1's classes disappear because you don't need to balance fucking PvE.
Well, no. I said it would make any content trivial, and what content then is going to be hard apart from maybe a Grandmaster Nightfall? Because you'd come up with some crazy stuff.
Again, at the same time, we had the clutchable moments, clutchable raids and shit in D1. Like,
yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
One thing D1 definitely
two
did
sides
bear
of the coin.
towards
Do you know what I mean? You can't say, "Oh, it's going to trivialize content," and then, "Oh, well, it was great to have the ability to clutch stuff in D1." Because a part of that was
as strong as what I'm trying to say. Is like the changes you could make. It was kind of very specific, wasn't it? Like, I mean, I can only really remember for Warlock, but like, you know, for self-res Warlock, you would always have the Viking funeral and stuff like that. Because why would you have the other one? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, there was choices, but some of the choices were just so obviously terrible for what was good in the game that you just wouldn't pick them. You know, so I don't know. Like, yeah, the system was better, but the abilities certainly weren't better. The abilities in Destiny 2, I feel, are way better than they were in D1.
I do prefer
make me feel like a badass.
I do prefer like Devour on Voidlock than I did any of the melees on and any sort of like buff that I got from my subclass in D1. But that's what I'm saying.
You were saying before, Trev,
there's certain aspects of each game that are done better, and if they could just pick, like, if they were to turn around and go, okay, you know, obviously they basically announced when they announced Beyond Light, oh, we're not doing a D3. If they did turn around and go, well, actually, you know what, after Lightfall we are doing a D3, and we're gonna take the abilities and stuff from D2, we're gonna balance them, and we're gonna make them have the availability of the class trees of D1. The raids are going to be structured similar to D1, but with the more mechanic heavy difficulty of D2, but they are still going to be able to be clutchable like in D1. I think that would probably make the perfect PvE experience in this game. Just in my opinion.
Sounds good to me. But I mean, I guess, but yeah, but I guess the talking point is we've got it is like, is it as bad as we sort of say it is? And the reason I kind of dragged us into this talking point was because you were saying, you know, I do my 3 and then I log off and play Apex. Like, how much of that do you honestly think is because you played this game for 6 years? Because I've got friends that I've had a lot of time off who are absolutely loving this season because they already got burnt out ages ago. And they've come back and gone, do you know what? This is really fun. Like, doing these bits of story every week.
I got burnt out in Curse of Osiris and left and came back and came back at the end of Season of Worthy. So I've been through that. My point is, I think it's a bit more like what Lunch here responds to Lysis and saying. D1, it was the expansion, and then you yourself found new things to do, right? So like in Taken King, we had the corrupted chest, right? You couldn't go and get this chest unless you had a certain buff, or people cheesed it by blocking with a sword.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, that is something that the community as a whole found for themselves to do. Yeah, strike specific loot.
I didn't seek in D1.
Yeah, people constantly
that was
grinded.
something that people just invented.
Yeah, people constantly grinded strikes because they wanted a good roll on a strike specific loot item because they thought it looked cool. Like,
yeah.
I'm saying certain aspects of D1 would be better implemented in D2. If they were implemented in D2, it'd make D2 miles better. But at the same time, I agree in the sense of it is more accessible for those that don't play, 8 to 10 hours a day now than it
Yeah,
ever has been.
do you know what?
But
I honestly think that they've purposefully designed it now. Like, you know how like addicts like slowly get weaned off of stuff. I think Bungie have slowly weaned us addicts who used to play D1 like 8 or 9 hours a day or whatever. Like
yeah,
they've weaned us off with this seasonal model. And what I was gonna bring up with this talking point when I saw the talking point is that's kind of what's happened to me in the sense that I don't really get burnt out in D2 now because I've accepted that I'm going to enjoy it for like the first 4 or 5 weeks of the season, and then I'll come back and do, as you said, the weekly thing and log off and play something else. And I've accepted that now. But me a few years ago was like, that this is the only game I want to play, and I want to play it all the time, and you're not creating enough content for me to play. Like and that because in D1 you kind of had the DLC, and then Crucible was good enough to sort of keep you going. Like Trials was a
yeah.
lot more fun, and they had stuff like SRL and stuff like that coming time to time, and things like that. So, but I mean, I'll never forget the drought of Kingsfall though. Like everyone says, Kingsfall's such an amazing expansion, which it is, but I mean, the drought between that and Rise of Iron, like that DLC was amazing, but I got burnt out, way before Rise of Iron came out. Do you know what I mean? In terms of like, doing that raid again. Like I'm not gonna do Kingsfall again. Like, I was just basically playing PvP with my mates like halfway through that year to the rest of the year.
But my point
And
is, as it says, as Lunch says, like it is built more as a weekly point, and as you said,
mhm.
I've accepted that I log in, play each week, but the problem is, I haven't got no incentive to do like all my pinnacles. I was fine with doing three strikes that are boring as hell. I'm not gonna get no strike specific loot. I've done these strikes other than Proving Grounds that obviously came out last season, and Glassway that came out in Beyond Light. I've done these strikes for 4 years for the most part. Obviously there's a few exceptions, Corrupted.
What I don't understand is they brought in these like strike weapons now. Like so Royal Entry, right? I know I really want a good roll on that, but I don't want to play strikes to get it, if you know what I mean. Like I can't sit there and do strike after strike. And I feel like the system in D1 with like the keys and stuff like
Skeleton
that.
keys, the strike
Um
specifically.
yeah. Like that was so good because then so imagine if you had skeleton keys in D2 now, yeah. So you would do your either master or grandmaster or whatever level nightfalls you want to do to get your keys. So you're getting materials whilst you're doing nightfalls. You could be getting golf balls or
Yeah.
prisms. You could be getting the nightfall specific weapons as well whilst you're doing that. And then when you go into the strikes, every strike you play that you've got a key for, if it's a strike that the weapon is the one that you want, you can cash it in, and if it's not, you don't, and you wait till the next strike. Like that would be
That's
such
my
a better
point.
system for D2.
There is no incentive other than making some for your own. So like for me, the reason I went on today and I did my pinnacles after I did my dailies on Apex was I want to get to 1335. So if the lads that are in the clan need one person to come and help them with a GM help, they can call upon me. Do I need to do them myself? Do I? Fuck, I've got my Conqueror title.
Yeah, but surely you want.
I don't want to guild it.
No, but do you not want any of the weapons? Like, do you not want a fusion rifle with that perk on it? I can't remember what it's called now, but the one that explodes everything. Do you not want a Firefly scout rifle adept? Do you not want? Is that not enough incentive for you?
Alright, so this is about as much of Nightfalls I've done in the past 6 weeks we've been in this season in comparison to last season. By the time GMs came out, I think I had 3 of each weapon last season. This season I have, I think, one of each. No, I don't even have a Hung Jury. The one
Is that
sniper,
because of how much
one-
you played, or because of the drop rate?
the one sniper I did
Bit of
get,
both.
I deleted it, and then the one plug one I got was from a seasonal triumph.
All right.
And yes, as Kit said, a bit of both. I've barely fucking played because I've got no incentive. I really could care less about the weapons. They're not like Hung Jury and D2. Yeah, it's cool. I used to use Hung Jury back in D1. Like when I went into King's Fall for the first time, like that was the weapon I used. Right.
Oh yeah, I think all of us did. That's great. That weapon was.
Right.
Yeah.
And then I
it's
hear
a shadow
people,
of its
but this
former
is the thing,
self.
that's what I'm saying. I hear people saying it's not as good. It's like, what's the
Well, it's
fucking
not
point of me
because
going
it's
to
still a
farm for
scout
it?
rifle in D2, isn't it? And scout rifles in D2, other than when they've got barrier on them to help you with
Or
champions,
DMT.
are pretty useless.
Oh, they're useful, yeah. Well, obviously it's Hung Jury, it's not DMT, it's not exotic, but there are plenty of things, some things that were done better in D1, some things were done better in D2, some things that we figured out how to improve on. What I can improve on would have been to get us on the swab about 10 minutes ago, but that didn't happen. So, what have we got?
This week at Bungie, it's getting dark. Endless Night really ramped up this week. Tower is now in dark mode. Still looks pretty bright to me, but I digress. Stranger things are afoot as Guardians continue to search for answers, diving deeper into the Vex network. Hopefully the source is found soon, as it's looking pretty problematic right now. The bravest and most powerful among you have started to take on Grandmaster Nightfalls. That went live this week with Grassway. Anyone not aware, Grandmasters are some of the most difficult content to aspire to. Artificial difficulty, but I digress again. If you've reached the proper power and haven't given it a go yet, Plug 1 is up for grabs this week, so get in there. And be brave. Shoot for the moon, bunch of new moon weapons. Wait, they're bringing back the other one?
Yeah. Yes, so the ones that they hadn't brought back yet are coming back with very different attachments. Why did I go to call them attachments? Perks that they didn't originally roll with.
Nice.
So
That's good news.
I just want to say some of my favourite weapons out of the moon weapons are in
That
this
120 is my favorite looking 120 in the game, so if I
Loud
can get a
Lullaby.
decent one of them, yeah.
Loud
I always
Lullaby.
did enjoy the arc logic, that was good. Personally.
Yeah, Loud Lullaby.
I'll take a tunnel vision rampage, please.
Loud Lullaby, right? I had the exact role I've got on my Icolos SMG, and for the GMs in the Season of Arrivals with Unstoppable Hand Cannon, it was fucking beastly, right? And the role I've got on my Icolos SMG is Grave Robber and Demolitionist. And I would run Well of Radiance. So I would throw my grenade to heal the team. I would shoot things to get my grenade back. And then I'd be out of ammo and something would be weak and it'd come close and I'd melee it and boom, reload my ammo.
Yeah. That's a fun loop. That's a fun loop.
Exactly.
Yep.
Then you've got Tranquility and Art Logic, as Kit said. Like Art Logic, I had a Subsistence Demolitionist one, which is the same role that I've got on my fucking.
Heating up on Art Logic would be nice.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm very much looking forward to those. And then the.
So when are these coming back?
7/6, so that's the 6th of next month.
Oh.
So is that the day before Bungie Day?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because they have their dates backwards, don't they?
Oh, Twilight Oath that can roll with Awful. Yes. I actually really like the look of that.
Oh, Twilight Oath's back. Oh, that's gonna be good.
And then.
But here we are getting excited about guns we've already grinded for once.
Yeah. Well,
Bungie,
you got a bit of a build up. The week before they drop, we have Iron Banner.
Yeah.
And if I play, I know what I'll be doing.
Oh, good
Trying to
God.
get a Reese Walker.
If I play,
I still
I
haven't
might
had an
not.
Iron Reach Reese Walker, so I will be playing. It's not fair. I want one.
And Toby's favourite part of this entire twab is the headline for the next part.
Maybe
As I saw him
Cosmo
tweet out before, yeah.
let me put
Well, apparently you did because it's in there. Yeah, the player support stuff. So things that are changing, issues and stuff. Let's see. Bungie Store Beta will be rolled out. The transition to a new e-commerce platform. Okay, so that'll happen July 1st.
It is something that will. I'm just looking at the PC frame rate update thing right here. I quickly glanced over it. I think that might affect Dunes because he's got an AMD graphics card.
Yeah, I don't, so it won't affect me. But those of them that do have an AMD graphics card, that's good news if they're getting some resolution for that.
Yeah, because he was having frame rate issues earlier this week.
Yeah. And anything they can do to work towards the resolution for those is always a good step.
Yeah, and then we've got known issues as usual. You know, any issues that are in the game that they know about, they'll put them in this section. Code of Glass. Not counting if you collect the things on multiple characters. Lucky I got mine when I did then, because I think I collected 2 of them on the Warlock and the rest on my Titan.
Yeah.
As with steps, create a gap at the waist when used with 7th Seraph Robe. That could be problematic. Keybinds don't appear after alt tabbing on Stadia.
Yeah, that is peculiar. It's like, oh yeah, you need to switch to something else. Well, your keybinds are broke.
There are floating pieces that appear in first-person view when looking down.
I'll have to have a look at that because I've not noticed that.
And then obviously movie of the week. We don't actually play these, but if you want to go and check them out, go and check them out. And the artists of the week, and then obviously the little outro that Cosmo does. And they've got, obviously it says, expect an update next week. Where they'll show off basically what's coming in Solstice of the Hero. So get ready for a fun-filled summer.
Yeah,
More bounties, woo!
Yeah, more than likely.
Bounty sim. Yeah, probably. Wouldn't be a surprise. But I did say, didn't I, that it was a very short twab, and
Yeah,
well,
extremely
they didn't disappoint. So I see you've got your following list open. So you're trying to figure out where we're going. Right, Project. Thank you for coming on.
Yeah, man, it's been a pleasure. Thank you very much for even considering me.
You beat me to it. I was going to say it's been fun. It's been a pleasure. A little bit less up my alley, having like a lot more talking going on to have to try and deal with, but we kind of pulled through, so it's all right.
Yeah, we're only 11 minutes over time right now.
Yeah, so for those who like couldn't tune in live or whatever, or are here now and like want to try and figure out where you are, where can we find you? Like your socials and on Twitch and stuff.
So yeah, my Twitch channel is just Twitch TV /Project88 miles per hour. And Twitter is exactly the same. It's just at Project88 miles per hour, and that's basically the only 2 places you'll kind of find me. You can find me on YouTube again with Project88 miles per hour, but I really don't upload very much content there. But if you want to laugh, go and have a look at some of the old stuff I posted from years ago.
I'm sure that'll be fun when I've got not much else to do during my lunch breaks or whatever. Just have a bit of a flick through. Yeah, just before we, you know where you're going. Okay, just before we head over, then. Obviously we've said thanks for coming on. If we do ask you to be on again, you know, would you be up for that? Is there anyone you'd want to come on with, or to just see on in a future episode?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm sure you've already been recommended, and you've got your eye on Scott the Dude. Also, another friend of the chaps' sort of family that he's in the Bunnies clan as well is Downbeat. He's got a lot of opinions on the game as well, and I'm sure he would be able to have a good conversation with you guys about it as well. And yeah, another close friend is the Sten. I'm not sure how up for a podcast he would be, but he's a very funny guy when he gets going. So I'm sure you'd have a good conversation with him as well.
Cool.
Yeah, we're gonna go and see Just Wipe It Brother. Senor Kirby.
Hey.
So, as Kit said, I echo exactly what he said in the sense of thank you very much for coming on. Thank you everybody who is watching on, Twitch, either live or the VOD, watching it on YouTube or listening in the podcast platforms. I read them off earlier. I've closed the list now, so I'm not going to read them off again. But yeah. Yeah, exactly. So appreciate everybody who listens, watches, wherever, and obviously Project and all the other guests that have been on or are going to be on at some point, for giving us the time to, the guests chat, talk and get some opinions across and maybe change a few opinions of other people depending on how we explain things. And then obviously you guys, the viewers and listeners, like actually giving us the time to try and give you a bit of entertainment and like I said, maybe change your opinion on a certain topic. But as Project said, is his links. If you are watching on YouTube, they will be in the description of the YouTube video. So be sure to go and check them out. And we'll see